Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series Week 3 is just wrapped up, and what an amazing card it was, filled with young talent, undefeated fighters, brothers on the card as well. We're going to be going through the entire card, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and giving an overall card recap for the Contender Series, starting with our early prelim opener. We're going to work our way to the main event, but with our early prelim opener of Kevin Sali versus Kenny Cross, a great fight to start off the night. Well, it wasn't a great fight, I'll be honest with you guys. It wasn't the best performance in the world from Kenny Cross, but he did beat an undefeated guy, 10-0. He's still young, as Dana White says, 25 years of age. You can't keep giving out contracts to everyone on the show. Also, in the third round, he looked like he was completely gassed out and was struggling to get through the end of that round. Not a very good look if you're looking for a contract on the Contender Series, to be barely escaping the round at the end of the fight. I felt like he didn't do enough for the contract whatsoever. I agree with Dana White's decision, but he's very good. Good grappling, showed that he can get through tough situations as well, because Kevin Sali, as much as it wasn't the cleanest performance from either guy, was a 10-0 undefeated guy, an absolute savage. Good performance from Kenny Cross. I feel as though they should offer him a fight as the end of the series, week 10 or whatever it goes up to, see if they can get a quick turnaround for him, but I did notice him in crutches at the end of the show, so I don't think that one's going to be happening. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't think he's going to be turning around too quick, but 25, go away, fight two more guys, come back on the next Contender Series, and then we'll see then. But he's still 25, he's got a long way to go. But Josh Parisian versus Chad Johnson. Next up the card, great fight. Chad Johnson is a weirdly built man. You saw Paul Felder on the actual stream talking about how long his arms are, and they did look weirdly long. But one thing I noticed as soon as the fight started is Josh Parisian spitting everywhere. That was a crazy card. Josh Parisian is an amazing fighter. He actually is. Don't let looks deceive you. He is really good. He's very loose. He puts a lot into those leg kicks. I like the way he leg kicks guys. Really puts full momentum behind him. Big guy for the division as well. And Chad Johnson, just from the get-go, I could kind of tell the way the fight was going. I didn't do any predictions beforehand or anything like that, but as soon as this fight started, there was a clear difference in the way these guys were taking shots and giving them as well. Chad Johnson just seemed a little bit sloppy in a lot of areas. I don't know what guy he beat to become 6-1. I don't know what kind of guys he's beaten. Well, he's beaten a lot of tin cans, actually, by the looks of things here. Beat one guy who was 6-1, though, so I guess that's a decently good win. But still, Chad Johnson just didn't look quite ready enough. He's a heavyweight. They can come back when they're like 50 years of age. He's got a long time in his career. If he just goes away, wins one more, comes back on the next series, I'm sure we can give him another chance, because he's still a guy who's 6-2. If he gets through the next series, he'll be something like 8-2 if he wins one outside the Contender Series. But yeah, Chad Johnson didn't do good enough, and Josh Parisian actually got a contract. I'm glad he was on the last one. He landed a spinning back fist KO. I don't know why they didn't give that a contract the first time, but I guess it must have been a really stacked card with some great performances back then for them to justify not giving a guy a contract for a spinning back fist KO. Josh Parisian got robbed the first time, worked his way back, built up a good record, 12-3, get him in the UFC. I'm glad they gave him a contract, another great performance, and a dominant win. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the heavyweight division. Dana White said get him to the PI and see what they can do with him. Basically saying, hey, Josh Parisian, you're a fat fuck. Get in shape, you disgrace. I wonder if that means he wants him to go to light heavyweight? Because I'd imagine he just wants to trim down a little bit and look a little bit more marketable or something like that. But then again, who is Dana White to decide what weight Josh Parisian should be? He's a little bit fat-shamey, but that's okay. Josh Parisian gets the job done, gets a contract. I look forward to seeing what he can do in the UFC. Orion Kosce. Or Kosei. Sorry, Orion Kosei. Great performance. Not the best in the world. As I watched it live, I noticed the moment at the end of the second round. Obviously, we all noticed that moment. I looked in the background. I knew Dana White was going to be furious about that. I knew he was going to be furious. And I actually felt like that was going to rob Orion Kosei of an actual contract in the fight, because he fought a good guy. Matt Dixon, 9-0, dominant guy himself, looking to come in here. I mean, Orion Kosei, obviously a big name with a lot of hype behind him. Undefeated guy, won all of his fights by finish. But Matt Dixon is no joke. And in that first round, he showed Orion Kosei a couple problems. I gave Kosei the second round, but I could see in the background, as soon as Orion Kosei touched gloves with Dixon before the round was over at the end of round 2, I could see Dana White and Sean Shelby talking amongst each other, and I just knew that he was furious about it. So he's lucky he went out there in round 3, like Dana White said. Great performance. I need to see him inside the UFC. It's a great performance. All finishes, and then We'll get to his brother in a second because that was way more impressive, but still, it's kind of hard to not give both brothers a contract. As much as I don't like giving everyone a contract, those were some good performances. Orion Kosei, undefeated. I like his style. Good performance. I just thought he could have done a little bit more. He looked a little bit sloppy in the first round. We'll get to his brother in a second because his brother is on a... Like, he's very, very, very good. But Orion Kosei in the first round looked very sloppy. Looks like he took a long time to get into the fight, but eventually found his way. He could have easily rode out a decision and secured himself a win, but he went for the finish with the crucifix. Good job, Orion Kosei. Moving on. Cheyanne Bays, or however you pronounce her name. Bays? Cheyanne Bays? I think they were pronouncing it, even though it clearly says Bays. I don't know why. Why do you say things differently to the way it's spelled? It makes no sense, but still. Cheyanne Bays, as long as she got a win, she was getting a contract. It's 2020. It's the Contender Series. She's female. She won, so she gets a contract. It doesn't really matter what kind of performance it was. But in this case, it was actually a contract-worthy performance. One thing I don't like, though, is that she's 4-1 coming into this. Now she's 5-1. I wish we would let these women breathe a little bit and maybe have gotten her back at the end of this series or something just to get another win under her belt, because as much as I like a 5-1 record, if she loses her debut, she's 5-2. And that's very different, okay? That's a very different situation. But Cheyanne Bays, I'm going to call her Bays. That's how she says. That's how it's spelled. I'm going to say it how it's spelled. But still, Cheyanne got the job done. Great performance. Was swearing in the middle of the fight, which I enjoyed to watch. Actually, a good performance. She looked really good. Striking was okay. Hillary Rose, 4-1 as well. It was a good win. Cheyanne Bays gets the contract. I agree with it. She had a good performance. Kept the pace going. Always was looking for the finish, it seemed. Even though sometimes I wish she would have broke from the clinch. I actually thought she was going to end up robbing herself by Yana Kunitskaya, Holly Holm-esque style fighting against the cage a lot of the time. I thought she was going to lose herself the contract, but eventually she just kept coming with bursts of action. I liked Cheyanne Bays' performance. Good one. Plus, she's a female fighter, so she's obviously going to get in the UFC. She's 5-1. She's already better than half the fucking roster. But still, Victor Reina versus Louis Cosce. Amazing main event. Victor Reina, been on the Contender Series before, lost his fight to actually Miguel Beza, who's now in the UFC welterweight division. They showed that highlight. A good fighter, beat some good guys, worked his way back. Louis Cosce, I think in the Kosei family, I think we know who the favourite child is. I think that's glaringly obvious who the favourite child of the Kosei family is, because Louis Cosce is just on another level to his brother. I mean, Orion Kosei is a good fighter and he's getting wins against guys who are 9-0. That's a really good performance, don't get me wrong. But Louis Cosce, I mean, what are we talking about now? Let me go through his record. Every win in his entire career by first round KO or finish, submission. He's got a guillotine in the first round, win in 8 seconds, a win at the end of the first round, a win in the middle of the first round, you name it, a win in 3 minutes and 41 seconds in a round, 18 seconds. This one was really quick as well. I mean, what a beautiful right hand. I believe it was a right hand anyway. I don't even know what hand it was. It was fast. It landed clean on the button, rocked him so badly, and then he pounced on the finish like he seems to always do. In the first round, he came out a little bit aggressive, and I thought, hang on a second here, we might see Victor Reina catch him with a counter shot, but he stayed calm, worked the clinch, broke, and then went for the finish. Louis Cosce, obviously the favourite child of the Kosei family. I mean, it's very clear. I thought they weren't going to give Kosei the contract, because I almost feel like there should be like a free contract limit. Even when guys overperform and fighters overperform, I don't like giving the majority of the fighters on the card a contract, because it kind of waters it down a little bit. But still, good performances. Orion Kosei got a finish as well. He's also undefeated. I feel like one of them said that one of them's going to move down to lightweight. I say no, don't do that. Both be at welterweight, and can we make this a thing in the UFC? The Kosei brothers, both undefeated, put them on the same card every time. Why not? They'll boost the enjoyment levels of any preliminary card of a fight night whatsoever. So let's bring them back in December on a prelim card, or they said they want to turn around real quick, so maybe bring them back in October or something like that. Put them on the prelims, both of them there. Louis Cosce to headline because he's completely outperforming his brother. Orion Kosei maybe to open up the second half of the prelims or something like that, or put them right next to each other on the card. I like Louis Cosce more. Move him up the card above his brother Orion, but still, both guys had good performances, and you could argue as well that Orion Kosei fought better competition. So I don't really know what to say about it, because I was looking at Louis Cosce's record. Although he's got a lot of good wins, these brothers have been fighting some cans. They have. He fought a guy 6-4 in his debut. That's a good win. Then he fought a guy 2-3, 0-0, then 18-42. I'd rather a guy making their debut than a guy with 42 MMA losses. I'll be honest, that damage is irreparable. But still, then he fought a guy who's 4-8, 4-4. So I was a little bit worried coming into this card that these Kosei brothers were going to underperform against real competition. But they came out there and proved that even though they were crushing cans, I mean, they were crushing good cans. Like, not good cans, but they were crushing cans good. They were good at crushing cans. Okay, and that can translate over to the top level if you give them enough time to evolve. Both of them seem to have done that. Lewis Kosei a little bit more than his brother Orion, but still, I like the performances from everyone on the card. Cheyanne buys, give her a contract. Orion Kosei, Lewis Kosei, given the contract like they have. Josh Parisian, contract as well. It made sense. There were a lot of good performances. Now, I do worry about always giving them out, but still. Next weekend's card, Week 4, I believe we've got flyweight contenders on the card this weekend, or next weekend. Yes, we do. Next Tuesday, sorry, not the weekend. This is a Tuesday night contender series, of course. We got some good fighters. Really enjoyable. I like the contender series. I should have gone live. Maybe I'll go live in the future for the contender series for a fight companion or something like that, because I'm just sitting here watching them anyway, regardless of having work at 9 AM. It's 3:30 AM. Like, if I'm going to watch it, I might as well go live as well. I feel like that would make sense. Maybe I'll wait till I move out because it is a fucking weekday after all. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. A great card. Let's start matching them up with the bottom feeders of the UFC and make them look really good. I mean, this Contender Series show breeds big stars. It really does. Look at the names that have come out of the series. I hope you guys enjoyed me recapping this, though. I'll probably be doing it more often because, listen, that Edgar versus Munoz card... Not too much content to make out of that one, I'll be honest. There's about 2 breakdowns I could possibly force myself to create, but still, I broke down the Contender Series card. It was a great card overall. I like the Contender Series. Fun fights in the Apex arena. It's just fun. It really is. I like that Dana White brings a lot of these into the UFC PI as well. It shows you that he's building these stars massively. You know, I'm sure that the Kosei brothers are going to have a real nice first few fights in the UFC, probably against guys along the name of Alex Moreno's coming off KO losses, maybe a couple guys, maybe an Abac. I don't actually know. There's a lot of good fighters they could take on at the bottom of the UFC, but I'm assuming that these Kosei brothers, very marketable brothers. I believe they're twin brothers as well. Actually, I don't even know if they're twin brothers, but they look... They must be twin brothers. Let me see these pictures again. There's no way they're not twin brothers. I won't believe it if you tell me that they are. And if they... I actually can't... Good night. Goodbye. Click that button there. See you later.